What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your hosts, myself, Alex Fishbein, and I got Dennis Big Sexy Clausen. What's going on, Dennis?
The fuck was that?
There was an echo because I like to have the stream up on my phone to make sure nothing looks stupid.
All right, fucking knock it off. Come on.
And that was probably the first time I've ever had the volume on by accident.
The only background noise that people need to hear is me heavy breathing.
Well, they're going to get a little echo in the intro. But after that, we're good.
Yeah, whatever. And I'm sorry if I look a little like disheveled. It is hot as fuck. And I know what people are going to say. Well, in Florida, it's like 97. Fuck off, all right? Because it's hot for me.
Right.
Like
that's why we don't live in Florida.
Right. That's why I don't live in Florida. It's like mid-90s.
Yeah.
The only person sweat more than me is fucking Elton John watching Justin Bieber eat a hot dog.
I didn't know where that one was going to go, but I like it.
I don't know where I came. That's why I'm such a genius. But before we came on, we were talking about jerk-off socks.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, when we talk about that stuff on the show, it's not just for the show. We talk about it off the show, too.
Right. We were literally talking about jerk-off socks.
Right before we hit go live.
And then I said, in my case, I had several of them. But then you lose your socks, and then you're like, I'm almost out of socks. I got to knock it off.
Yeah. You don't want to put on the wrong sock by accident.
No.
That's a bad day.
Stiff as a hell.
That's why I was more of a shower guy, because it's an easy cleanup.
Yeah, shower, you gotta have, it gets too hot.
True.
And then sometimes if you're standing a weird way, it hurts. At least in my case, it does.
I was like, I've never had that experience, but I'm going to trust you on that one.
Well, wait, I'm a little older than you. So then you start to get these, then it's just like a whole thing. But then if you're in the shower, what are you going to do? What are you going to watch? Is it all mental?
Either you do a little pregame watch and then jump in.
Hey, sometimes some things just hit you the right way. You could just carry that thing along with you. You know, it's like it's fresh in your brain.
Right. Or it's all mental. Like if you're, you have the days where it's just you're on it.
And I want to tell all the women something, all right? For one, don't ask me what I was doing, what I was watching, what I was thinking about, because it wasn't you. None of their guys are thinking about their significant other when they're doing it.
On special occasions, maybe.
Maybe Valentine's Day or so. But that's it. You're not. What more do you want?
I mean, true.
Like actual physical intimacy? Instead of jerking off, you want us to just spend all of our energy on you?
You want us to actually do something?
It's like, oh, what were you thinking about? No, actually, I was thinking about you making me a sandwich. That's probably what I was. I'll get in there.
Oh, God.
And that's all, folks. Have a good night. We covered all the important topics. Jerking off and hot. It's fucking hot.
True. Anyway, I guess maybe now's the good time to talk about actual basketball.
Oh, there's plenty of jerk-offs we're going to talk about.
That's very true. Speaking of which, by the way, breaking news as of 15 minutes ago, I think, DeJounte Murray re-signed with Atlanta. Got himself a good bit of money. 4-year, $120 million.
I mean, they were reporting that I forget who reported, but they were optimistic that a deal was going to happen, and then 24 hours later, look what happens.
Yep.
Which is a smart move because maybe a month ago, there was that rumor flying around that the only person that wasn't on the block is Trae Young. And I said, if you're putting DeJounte Murray on, like if you're making him available for trade, you're stupid.
Yeah, agreed.
He's not the best shooter in the world. What does he shoot, like 30% from three? Like he's not like.
I think it's a little better than that.
34%.
It is. Yeah, last year was 34.4.
Okay. So, I mean, that's not horrible, but I mean, for a guard, there's plenty of guards who shoot better. But what he does do is he's a great all-around guy. And defensively, I mean, last season he averaged 1.5 steals, I believe, and then the season prior to that in San Antonio, which arguably was his best season, he averaged around 2 steals a game.
Yep.
And I've always been high on DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray to me is not a jerk off. I think he's probably the most underrated player in the NBA right now.
He's definitely at least one of them. And I mean, he averaged 20 or more points per game in the last 2 seasons. 6.1 assists last season, 9.2 in that All-Star season with San Antonio. His turnovers are under like 2.6, 2.2 a game, so under 3 a game.
He's doing a lot better than Brandon Miller is. Let's just put it that way.
That's true. And there were so many rumors of like him for Siakam and him for Mikal Bridges or something, and then they would be part of like the Damian Lillard 4-team trade, and they would get somebody. All sorts of things.
Can't we just go back to talking about jerking off? I mean, what do we...
Well, first off, we're going to get to the Dame and Harden thing
I'm going to
later.
fucking relax, because I, as you can see, I'm all like, I'm ready to just cover everything in the first 3 minutes.
I know. We'll get to Damian Lillard in a little bit. Well, what I want to get to first is just how free agency went with the Atlantic Division. Because, again, we are the Atlantic Files, so we should look at the Atlantic Division at least once in a while around here.
And Oriental, because we love you, China.
Love you, China. So let's start off with the team that probably made the most signings. Actually, it's kind of tied with Toronto and Brooklyn. They made the most signings.
All right, but who actually made signings that fucking mattered?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess you could say the Knicks. Dante DiVincenzo is a good signing for them.
Like, I'm like, okay, like, remember when Dante DiVincenzo was in Milwaukee?
Yeah, and he was like...
I mean, he was okay.
He was supposed to be, like, their third option.
But now we're, like, ranting and raving about, like, I mean, hey, he got 4 years, $50 million?
Yes.
Good for him. He gets to go there. He gets to hang, go back with his buddies and Josh Hart and Brunson. And, he gets to, but, I've seen the Knicks spend money a lot worse than that, I can tell you that. So I'm okay with that.
There's one still on the team. And Evan Fournier.
Well, I'm talking like if you go back to the Phil Jackson administration.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot worse back then.
See, at least Evan Fournier, like he has like a tradable contract.
True.
Which
I'm surprised they still haven't traded him yet.
Give it a little bit. He'll be gone.
For their sake, I hope so. I do think it was kind of dumb of them to trade Obi Toppin for next to nothing. I really think, like, Tibbs...
You're higher on him than I am.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying Obi Toppin is some amazing player, but I feel as though Tibbs hates Obi Toppin.
I feel like Tibbs hates a lot of things.
That's also true.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he, he goes home, kicks the dog. You know what I mean? That type of guy.
He wouldn't shock me if he was that type of guy.
No.
But so in terms of the Knicks, so they sign DiVincenzo, they lose Derrick Rose, who really wasn't playing much either. They lose Obi Toppin from trading him away. I think that's all the moves the Knicks made, right?
So the Knicks, now you put me in the spot here.
Let me see. I have it coming up here. Hold on. All right. So they lost. They lost Trevor Keels and Dwayne Washington Jr., but that's nothing of note. Lost Derrick Rose. They added Jalen Martin, who's an undrafted rookie. Yeah, and I think that's really it so far. Oh, Josh Hart opted into his player option, but we know that Josh Hart is staying.
I mean, I don't think that counts.
No, they didn't make that move. Josh Hart made that move, technically. The only other thing that was a rumor for the Knicks is about Emmanuel Quickley wanting a big contract to stay. It looks like there are the rumblings around the league, according to Bobby Marks, is that the contract would be around 4 years, $95 million, which they say is a similar extension to what DeAndre Hunter received. I probably would rather have Quickley than DeAndre Hunter. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Quickley, though, like, I don't know what the hell it is with him, right? Whenever he starts, like, the guy's on a roll. And then, he just goes right back and does nothing. Like, let the guy start. Figure something out.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, it seems as though they trust him, but at the same time just don't trust him enough. And it's like, you got to pick one of those. You either trust like the guy or you don't.
He's like the backup, like, chick, when the one's not answering the phone and you don't feel like using the sock that night and you want to actually get something going on. That's Emmanuel Quickley.
Exactly. Which I feel like he still has...
Like, he's more than a jerk-off sock.
Yeah. He has some things that he can do for your team, and he probably can take another leap if you just give him the chance.
Like, he'll spit on it and everything.
Yeah.
Flick or something.
Oh, God.
He's a good player. Just let him. But like, I gotta calm down. But I mean, Jesus Christ! I mean, what are we doing?
No, I agree. And at this point, like, if you don't re-sign him, someone else will. Like, he will command a pretty big market in free agency if you let him get there.
So when's his rookie deal end? After this season?
I think it's after this coming season. Yeah.
And then we're entering the offer sheet territory.
Yep. Let me double check. So, yes. Next. So we had a team option for this past season and next season.
Okay, so they'll take up both. They'll take both of them.
Yeah. So they picked up the one for next season, which is only worth $4 million, and then I guess he hits restricted. Is it restricted if his contract is just up, or would he be unrestricted?
Well, when he's entering the final season or afterwards, and yes, he'd be a restricted free agent.
Okay. Sometimes I'm like, I don't really understand how those work, but
no, it's confusing. But so they basically, they have to sign an offer sheet. But then they have the right to, if they don't offer them an offer sheet, then they're unrestricted free agent. If they do sign them to an offer sheet, then they have the right to match other teams' offers.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so
I hope I articulated it correctly. I probably didn't, but in my
No, you
brain, I
did.
know what it is. I just can't, you know.
I
I'm
thought you
better talking
articulated
about
it
socks and food.
I mean, I am too, so I get it. The thing for me is if the Knicks let him get there, at that point it's kind of like I don't know what the Knicks game plan is because they got all those picks. They, you know, Randall is still one of the players that the Knicks front office and I feel like the Knicks fans are all like 50-50 about.
Which
They
I
don't
don't know
know if they
why.
like him or not.
I don't know why.
I know he's
People
a
are like,
very
well,
good player.
he played like garbage in the post. Well, the guy he had a pretty significant ankle injury. He had to have surgery in the off season. I mean,
Right.
so and he was trying his best to play through it. So I'm sick of the Julius Randle hate. Like, leave the guy alone. He's trust me, you could get a lot worse than Julius Randle. And sometimes I wish that. I mean, you could have John Collins.
True.
Then you'd be begging Julius Randle to come back.
The shortcomings of this team are not all Julius Randle's fault.
No, hell
Not
no.
even close.
Zero.
Exactly.
Nobody says shit about Mitchell Robinson. In fact, that guy's fucking hurt all the time.
Hurt all the time, a decent rebounding and defender, but doesn't do shit offensively.
Like, if you're hurt more than Robert Williams, you got a problem.
True. And on top of that, like, RJ Barrett is super inconsistent. Then
That's not even the word for it. And I'm sorry, but here we go. But we're talking about the fact here that the Knicks could have had Donovan Mitchell, and they didn't.
Yep.
And I mean, they could have gotten rid of RJ Barrett. That's their fault.
And their thing was they didn't want to give up him and Quentin Grimes. When it's like, what has Quentin Grimes done either?
Right, I get it. He's you think he's an up and coming player, blah blah blah. But if you have a chance to have Brunson, Mitchell, Randall, that's as good of a big three. I don't think a lot of teams in the league aren't going to get that.
That's easily a top 4 seed in the East.
Easily, that's like when you look at like the Lakers who made the Western Conference Finals and the Heat who made the NBA Finals. The Knicks certainly could have easily made at least the Eastern Conference Finals with a team like that.
Exactly. And it's like
Let's use our head here, New York.
There's no way that New York actually thought that Barrett or Grimes would ever equate to the type of player that Mitchell is. So at that point, if you know neither one of them are not going to ever get to that level, you make that trade.
Yeah, like RJ Barrett is like, he was more touted coming out of college, but now like the ceiling has been discovered on him. He's not a guy who's like anything special,
right?
But he's good. He's a good guy to have on your team.
He reminds me of a Khris LeVert type.
Yeah, I think he's a little better than LeVert. Not a lot, just a tad.
Right.
Maybe he's better than Khris LeVert is now, but when Khris LeVert had 2 kidneys, he was a little better than, RJ Barrett. But, Khris LeVert now, he's not as injury prone as Khris LeVert is. But I would equate his, I would say he's like I don't know. I have no idea. Just go. I don't know.
All right, so let's.
But he's
let's
a solid player. He'll play a lot of minutes. He can get hot, but he's also can suck every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Overall, I'd probably say the Knicks had just an okay free agency so far. They reportedly turned down a trade for Paul George.
Good.
I think what I saw the trade for Paul George was going to be was like RJ. I think it was another RJ Grimes and like 2 first-round picks.
Nope. Not a chance. You would have to give me 2 first-round picks to take Paul George.
What if I give you James Harden?
For Paul George?
Yeah.
I would take that.
I would take that too. I would take Paul George.
If I were the Clippers, I'd take Harden over George.
Oh, if I was the Sixers, I'd take Paul George.
No, hell no. I mean, Paul George is done. Like, you had a great career. You're done. You're not a big deal anymore.
I mean,
you and your buddy there, street clothes McGee. You got time to. We got to get rid of this team.
You can say that about both of them, Street Clothes McGee.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But anyway,
thank God they got Russell Westbrook back.
True.
The guy who can't shoot and is just
on a huge discount for what, $4 million a year? That's insane. Yeah. But let's move over to Brooklyn. So they lose Seth Curry, Watanabe. They trade away Joe Harris. They trade away Patty Mills, and I don't think they still know what they got back for that.
At this point, it doesn't really matter.
It's like a 5-team deal, which is where Dillon Brooks got moved to Houston in there. But anyway, they signed Lonnie Walker, Dennis Smith Jr., and they re-signed Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson got 4-year, $108 million. You and I talked about it before. Like, he was going to command a good bit of money, especially. I'm just not a big fan of Cam Johnson's had some good games, but I mean, I really don't see the need to spend $100 million on. Never mind. I was totally not even. I was pulling a mic just now. Did you see that? You were thinking of someone else.
Absolutely, because I was reading something and I heard you at the corner of my. So yeah, he was going to get that regardless. But I mean, I guess I could say okay, but my reaction is kind of the same. Like, he's good, but you also got to remember he missed like a couple months with a pretty significant knee injury. And I think the only reason why Brooklyn was forced to kind of re-up him is because that's what you got for dealing Kevin Durant. So you got to kind of pay the man, because you don't want to. I mean, even though getting Mikal Bridges to me is going to be a top 10 player.
Yeah.
This season. You might even hear his name in the MVP conversation, believe it or not.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not a crack. I mean, when you look at how he played in Brooklyn, he's ready to take on a team. He's durable as hell. He's got a great attitude. He's ready to take that next step.
I agree. No, I love Mikal Bridges. I love his game. I love everything about him. I also think they have to just re-sign Cam Johnson, because him and Mikal Bridges came together. They have the chemistry. Cam Johnson's still pretty young. He's 26, 27. Mikal's 26.
There are worse guys you could build around than those two. At least those guys have good attitudes. They want to learn. And you know something, but getting back to the Knicks too, and I never said it, but I want to say it, is I think Brunson's going to be in the MVP conversation this season.
I think he definitely can be. I mean, Brunson has proven to be very, very good. And now that he has 1 year of building up with his teammates in New York, I think that next year he can really take off and get to another level, especially when you just have more and more role players around him that are better suited to actually hit shots or be useful in their offense. So I agree. I could see it. I definitely think him and Macau, and like I could see Brunson and Macau being named Eastern Conference starters for the All-Star game.
There'll be times when they're mentioned in the MVP conversation. I think the MVP conversation, I don't think you're going to see, and I know we're kind of getting off track, but whatever. I mean, Giannis just came out, that update just came out that he had another knee procedure.
Yep, the cleanup procedure, yeah.
I mean, enough already. If you don't see with what I've been talking about for the past couple of years, then I got no use for you. Because this guy has been hurt for years, and he's always undergoing something, and he's just not. I think easily Giannis's best days are behind him. He can't stay healthy enough to even be in the MVP conversation.
Right. Well, yeah. Now that they have that game limit now for the awards coming up after they signed the CBA, so.
But even if he was, one game over, I still don't think he has enough, just from a statistical standpoint, to be that much of a factor anymore.
Right, I got you.
I don't see him in the MVP conversation at all. I'm gonna be very surprised, like the media will say Luke is gonna be, in the MVP conversation, but I'll be surprised if in my opinion, Brunson's looking like a much better player than Luka is. And I know people will shit all over me for that, but if I were building a team and you gave me a choice, I would seriously have to consider which guy I would take. And if you gave me a choice between Mikal Bridges and Luka Doncic, I'd probably going to take Mikal Bridges.
Two of those guys made the playoffs and one missed the play-in.
And one guy can't stay healthy.
True. It definitely, I definitely think Brunson and Bridges are going to be two of the best players in the Eastern Conference, and they'll be in the top, at least the top 20 in the league, at least.
I don't want to hear while you're swallowing your esophagus. I don't want to hear about, Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum played a complete ass in the postseason.
Yeah, he did.
I don't want to hear. I think Jaylen Brown is actually going to be better than Jason Tatum is this year.
He's about to get a fat contract.
Good.
He should. I agree.
I think we're at the point now where Jaylen Brown is going to be a bigger asset for the Celtics than Jason Tatum is.
I could see it.
So I don't want to hear any of this garbage, and I'm sorry, I know I'm interrupting you, but you know me when I go on a fucking roll. But I don't want to hear any of this garbage this season. I don't want to hear anything preseason. I don't want to hear Vegas talking about, unless it's, I don't want to hear Vegas talking about Giannis favorite to win the MVP. I don't want to hear Luka is a favorite. I don't want to hear Tatum. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to hear names like Mikal Bridges. I want to hear Jokic. I want to hear Embiid. I want to hear Jaylen Brown, Brunson. Those are the guys I want to. Those are the guys to me who are going to be in the MVP conversation.
Probably Jokic is going to be in there again, just because it's Jokic. Especially because without Bruce Brown now, they're going to have to do a lot more, because Bruce Brown did a lot of shit for them that they're going to see very quickly.
Well, Bruce Brown did a lot of shit for a lot of people.
That too. I'm glad he got paid.
He deserves it.
Awesome for him. And I said this in our text group, but I still do think the Pacers are going to be a top 6 seed next year. Just saying. But no, I could see all those guys in the MVP conversation. Giannis, the Bucks themselves are just aging a lot. I could see the Bucks dropping in playoff seed from their normal top 2, top 3 seed, especially new coach now. Another year of aging. Drew Holiday has had some seasons where he's been hurt for a few weeks, and then he comes back, and then he's had seasons where he's healthy for the whole year, so you don't know what you're going to get from him. They did get Brook Lopez back, which it did look like he was going to leave there too. And then Khris Middleton, they re-signed him, but Lord knows if he stays healthy. He's been missing a whole bunch of games the last few seasons. So I could see
But
Milwaukee
he played 26 games last year?
If that. He played 33.
Okay.
Started in 19 of them, so...
But I think the beginning and the end of Milwaukee started already, and I think you're going to start to hear, and we started to hear a little bit, but I think now it's really going to gain momentum to where we're going to start to hear Giannis wants out of Milwaukee.
Okay.
And I think it's going to start this season.
Interesting. I mean, I like that prediction. I don't know if it's going to start that fast, but I like that prediction. Our boy, he said Bruce will be missed. Big Yoke going to average a triple-double.
You heard that.
I mean...
Little Papa John's action.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see him averaging a triple-double for sure. Bruce is definitely going to be missed. Bruce... Everyone in Brooklyn misses Bruce. Everyone in Denver is going to miss Bruce. And everyone in Indiana is going to love Bruce.
And they miss him already, and he's on the team.
Exactly.
If your name is Bruce, you're all right.
I agree. Usually, Bruces are just like good, strong people.
Right.
I mean, you got Bruce Lee.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. I can't even think about any other Bruces.
I was going to say Bruce Brown, but that's the guy we're talking about.
Exactly.
Bruce Bowen?
Yeah, from the Spurs, right?
Bowtie guy.
Yeah. Bruce Bowen was like a defensive player of the year type of guy.
And then I was going to say Bryce McGowan, Mr. Summer League there.
But that's Bryce. He doesn't count.
I know, but can you say I'm close enough to a Bruce?
I mean, it's
if you're a
close,
Bryce
for sure. But I don't know. Bryce isn't. He hasn't been as good as a Bruce.
No, Bruce had a long history of not letting you down.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what John McClane did at the Nakatomi Plaza. You think Hans and his gang of terrorist friends were going to blow up the Nakatomi Plaza? Mm-mm. John McClane was there, a.k.a. Bruce Willis.
Not on Bruce's watch.
Not on Bruce's watch.
We got a request here for a big sexy rant about KD being so goddamn miserable on Twitter.
I like how he called me Grand Sexy.
Grand Sexy.
That's what they call me down there. South of the equator, they call me Grand Sexy. The ladies are going crazy. He is fucking miserable though. Like I think we were talking about it last week. He's definitely killed somebody before. It's a joke.
Kevin Durant's killed somebody?
It's a joke. I mean, it's a joke. It's for the thing, but he's fucking miserable.
I don't know. I kind of don't want to. I kind of just want to say it for the views. I could see him killing somebody.
Well, you know how you get around that? Then you said Kevin Durant allegedly may have killed somebody.
Allegedly.
Right. Then you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
So Kevin Durant allegedly killed somebody. I have sources.
Are we saying actually or in basketball? The world may never know.
Right. But because I'm saying allegedly, there's still a hint of doubt there. So it could be all bullshit. Nah, he didn't fucking kill anybody. I have no idea. But he's miserable. He's another guy too. Like I don't want enough with the Kevin Durant bullshit because
I just don't understand.
Have fun with your veteran minimum bums. We've seen how well that worked out before.
I just don't see how when you are as big of a player as he is, will go down as one of the best scorers of all time. And you make all this money, you're in the spotlight, whatever, and you take the time out of your day to respond to dumbasses on Twitter? Like, why?
I don't even do that. I'm not even doing anything. I'm watching TV.
Right. Like, I just feel as though that's just it's such a waste of time. And he even talks about it like, yeah, I talk back to the people. Like, that's what I do. But it's like, but why? I just don't get it.
I mean, you think he has any friends? You think he has anything to do?
Probably not.
I mean, do you think anybody wants to hang out with him?
I could see him just chilling it. He goes from the gym to home. He stays at home, probably plays some video games, and then just responds on Twitter, goes to bed, and just does it all over again.
See, I do that, except I don't go to the gym or post on Twitter. But I just go home and watch TV.
I mean, essentially, that's what I do, too, so.
Until I fly down south of the equator, and then El Grande E Sexy can get in there, get a little bit of that Papa John's action. Know what I mean?
Exactly. Then Mario takes you around down there in Chile.
I wonder how I would do though. I wonder if is Mario still available? I wonder what kind of guys are they? Are they like fat Americans? You think they'd be into this? As I'm drinking a Diet Coke, like it's doing me something.
I actually don't know. I don't know if he has a girl or not. We'll have to.
No, I don't care about him. I'm just saying, would there be a market for me?
No, I know, but you asked if he is still available.
No, I mean available as in like, is he? I don't know. Could you see him commenting or?
He just commented.
What do you say?
KD ain't got no kids. If he refers to himself as a god, that's cuckoo.
I thought he said cuck. He's a cuck.
Nope. Unfortunately, not. But no, I agree. You can't refer to yourself as God. Like, that. Not even Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or any of those guys were referring to themselves as gods. So I mean, if they're not, you can't.
I mean, he is like God in the sense that he doesn't show up when you need him. So, there you go. Fucking guy misses more time than, I don't know. Elton John watching Justin Bieber eat a hot dog. I don't know. That joke worked before. It had nothing to do, but I figured I'd throw it out there again.
Might as well try it again.
See if we go 2 for 2, you know?
So, Mario, we're wondering, would girls down in Chile like the archetype of big sexy over here? Grande y sexy.
Muy sexy.
Muy grande. Oh, muy sexy.
No, me. Okay, muy gigante. I mean, nobody down there has hair like me.
I don't know. I've never been down there.
I'm assuming. I'm stereotyping.
Mario's talking basketball. To me, Embiid is a mid version of KD in terms of how people admire their midi, 3-point, and free throws.
Can you get him on the show?
We can for sure bring him on anytime.
Just bring him on now. Send him the thing.
I definitely think that I wouldn't say Embiid is a mid version. I'd just say Embiid is a big man version of KD. KD could be a big man if he wasn't so fucking skinny. He has the height.
Which is sad because KD can play defense. He can block shots, which is surprising how skinny he is.
Right. And if KD really wanted, he could probably average 10 rebounds a game just off the fact that he's 7 feet tall.
Big wingspan. I mean, look, in all seriousness, Kevin Durant is great. He's very talented. But his attitude is just atrocious. And it's not just because I'm a Brooklyn Nets guy, but I'm just saying it's because everywhere he's gone, he's been a pain in the ass.
True. Mario says you do have a market there.
All right.
So we might be visiting Chile.
I'm sure there's a big following.
Of course. Just like at my wedding when everyone was like, "Are you big sexy?" You're gonna go down. You're gonna go down there, and they're gonna be like, "Are you grande sexy?"
That's right.
But anyway, so what did you think of Brooklyn's offseason? Like, do you like what they've done? Do you?
I don't. I mean, it is what it is. It's not. They didn't do
It's nice
anything.
they got rid of Joe Harris at least.
Right, but unless they did that for like a reason to try to get somebody, which I still may think there's something in the works here. I'm not. Things are getting too quiet right now for me to say like, okay, we're time to move on. Like things are getting like eerily quiet, and usually that's a sign of like things are happening.
Yep.
So I would not be surprised by any means if the Nets emerged, even if in the Damian Lillard talks. Like if they like, I know we've heard rumblings about that, but the Nets ties to Damian Lillard have been at the behest of Lillard wanting to go to Miami because that's where he wants to go. Like, but in order for that to happen, like they may need to involve a team like the Nets because nobody certainly wants Tyler Hero at that salary.
True.
And nobody wants Duncan Robinson. I mean, sure, he's a great 3-point shooter, but that's it. That's all the guy can do.
Yeah, he didn't even start playing for the Heat until like right around the postseason.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were talking about how he didn't play at all, and like where's Duncan Robinson?
Right.
But now we're at a point now where, like, if I were Sean Marks, I'd say, well, why do we got to involve the Heat? Like, I can give you a better deal.
Exactly.
Than what you're looking for. Like, I can give you Nico Claxton.
Cam Johnson.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But, we could give you Cam Thomas.
True.
We can give you Nico Claxton. We can give you draft picks. We can give you Ben Simmons.
Dorian Finney-Smith or Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, but those guys don't really have appeal to a Blazers team if they were like young and rebuilding.
Just because they're an expiring contract.
Well, I mean, I think Dorian still has at least a couple of years left on his deal.
I guess Royce. I think Royce was the one that was on like a 2-year deal or something.
So I don't think there'd be any incentive for them to take it, but I'm saying like if you get a chance to get rid of Lillard, but honestly, I don't even think it'd benefit the Nets to take Lillard because even if you had Lillard, I still don't see them as like a championship team.
Yeah, you would still need the guys like Nico Claxton and stuff.
Unless you sent like Nurkic. If you sent Nurkic,
right?
Okay, then we're talking about a team that could maybe at least hover around the semifinals.
That's possibly. If Nurkic actually stays healthy for once.
Which I think he can, but I just don't see the appeal of adding Lillard. But I mean, it seems Lillard is like so set on going to Miami, but I wouldn't rule out the Nets from making another deal here like soon. And I've been hearing like James Wiseman's name. Like I think James Wiseman would be like a nice addition somewhere. I'm not saying it's Brooklyn, but I'm saying like really? Actually I'm saying maybe Brooklyn because they could use some depth in that area. They could use a big man, so why not? I mean, but I think we're still going to see like a move for the Nets here coming up.
I still feel like there's going to be a handful of moves made by a couple different teams. I mean, obviously we're still waiting for the Lillard domino to fall, the James Harden domino to fall. I still feel like there are some moves to be made out there. Mario says Latinas like gringos, so there you go.
I'm not a big like. Well, I was going to say I'm not a taco guy, but that's not true. You know what I mean? Never mind. Anyways,
yeah. I mean, they had a decent offseason. They got rid of some salary weight in terms of Joe Harris and Seth Curry was okay. Patty Mills was okay. I mean, I like the fact that they signed Lonnie Walker and Dennis Smith. Those are nice bench guys to have, and they're still young. Lonnie Walker even like pretty much saved the Lakers postseason a couple times.
And
So
Dennis Smith had some good games in Charlotte.
yeah, exactly. So I think both of them are decent signings. They'll do a good bit on the bench and they'll be all right.
But honestly, like I'm not. I know we're kind of bouncing around, but I mean we're still in the Atlantic, so like I want to bring up the Sixers at least because
Yep, that's what I'm going to get to next.
If I think the Sixers to me could be in the best position to like get Lillard because obviously they would want Tyrese Maxey as a part of the deal. Understandable. But if you added Tyrese Maxey, then you would have, Maxey, you would have Simons, you would have like a nice young backcourt, then you got Scoot. Jeremy Grant is there. They still, and kudos to at least Portland did one thing right because they, technically if they wanted to, they could back out of that Jeremy Grant deal, but they're not going to.
Right.
But, my whole problem with this thing, real quick, is that, like, why are we. I just have a problem that it waited so long for Lillard to finally come out and say he wants a trade. Like he knew he wanted a trade the entire time. You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait till after the draft. You're gonna wait till after you sign Jeremy Grant and commit money to him because I don't think if Damian Lillard wasn't coming back, I don't know if Jeremy Grant would be coming back.
Probably not. If Jeremy Grant knew, like, oh, I'm just going to be with another team who's rebuilding again, why would I sign here? Why when I can get a decent amount of money and play for a competitive team? And Mario asks, are Isiah Thomas and Curry the only guys under 6'3" to lead a team to a chip? Iverson was close in 01. Nash was close in the mid-2000s. Do you see Lillard as a guy who can join them? Not to me.
I see as a guy who could join the ladder of the group.
Right. I think he could get them close, but I don't think he could win a championship. Especially, I don't think he could lead a team to a championship that doesn't have the necessary role player pieces. Because we've seen time and time again over the last probably 10 years now, if you form a super team with either, whether it be a big two or a big three, if you don't have the necessary guys around them that can actually contribute to winning playoff games, they're not gonna win a championship. We've seen it. You and I have talked about it ad nauseum.
Yeah.
If you just get a bunch of people and then throw in a whole bunch of veteran minimums and old people, it doesn't work. So, and that's the thing with me. If the Sixers trade for Dame, they're gonna have to trade Maxey. They're gonna have to trade either Harden or Tobias. Because that's how the salaries are going to match up. Because Lillard's getting fucking out the ass money. They're going to have to trade probably like one other young guy like Jaden Springer, whoever. And then picks. First off, the Sixers don't have any more picks, really. They only own their own pick in 1 year until like 2030. And the rest, they have like 4 to 5 second round picks, I think. And then the rest are all like swaps where they get the worst of the pick and so on and so forth. So they literally have put themselves in a corner to the fact that say they trade Maxey, Tobias, whoever. You got Harden, Lillard, and Embiid. 3 guys who are, well, 2 are over 30. Embiid is approaching 30. And they're all injury prone.
Yeah.
And the only guys you will have around them are Patrick Beverley, PJ Tucker, and now Mo Bamba. And they haven't even re-signed Paul Reed yet. So
McDaniels is gone.
McDaniels is gone. Shake Milton's gone. George Niang is gone. So I don't know, like, you don't have the necessary pieces to win a championship. And now that it's taken you so long to trade either Tobias or James Harden, there's no more free agents left. So say you do trade them and then you get some more cap space because of the trade, there's nobody out there to sign.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the Sixers offseason.
What he said. Well, if you get into the super teams, though, if you look at when LeBron went to the Heat in 2010,
right?
So the big, it was Chris Bosh, Wade, and LeBron. So around him, we have this star-studded roster. Joel Anthony, Carlos Arroyo, Mike Bibby, Mario Chalmers, Eric Dampier, Udonis Haslem, Eddie House, Juwan Howard, Zadrinas Ilgauskas, James Jones, Jamal McGlure, Mike Miller, Dexter Pittman, and Jerry Stackhouse is what you were left
Jerry
with.
Stackhouse was on that team?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's what happens when you build super teams. They don't work. You need depth. A lot of teams over the years have proved you need depth. The Warriors won a championship, the last season just based on depth. The Nuggets were deep.
And you know what happened when the Miami Heat finally won those championships? They added Ray Allen. Shane Battier was there. Mario Chalmers actually ended up being like the perfect role player point guard that they needed to distribute the ball between all three of them and also hit some threes.
But that was still a chance, too, to take Ray Allen, because Ray Allen certainly wasn't on the level he was, earlier in his career.
No, exactly. And so they did get the important role players that they needed to win. But then you look at, if you just look at, let's say Brooklyn with Harden, Kyrie, and KD. First
it was
off,
garbage.
They all got hurt. But after them, it was Claxton and then who?
You had Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, Patty Mills. It was not good.
Exactly. So, and let's see. Mario here says Lillard's case is similar to KG. Once KG went to Boston, he played there with his two best teammates in his career, Pierce and Ray. Lillard may be the same with Jimmy and Bam if he goes to Miami.
Yeah, but he's not going to. There's no way he's going to go to Miami because nobody wants Tyler Hero.
They don't want Tyler Hero. They don't want Duncan Robinson's contract. And then, honestly, this feeds into what we were just saying about the super teams, too. They lost Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent was a very important player for them. They lost Max Strus. You could kind of deal without Max Strus. He had, especially in the postseason, he was god-awful. So you could probably deal with losing him, whatever. Caleb Martin is one that probably is going to have to be in a trade because he's a guy that is younger, on a more favorable contract. You're probably going to have to trade him with Tyler Hero, if not also with Duncan Robinson.
Why can't they just trade Cody and just say it's Caleb?
Because one would be coming from Charlotte.
Boy, there goes my bright idea. Plus one plays.
They did at least, I will say, they added a couple good role players. Like Josh Richardson is okay. Thomas Bryant is decent off the bench. Kevin Love was important for them. And obviously just a veteran that is just good to have around with championship experience. But I don't think people think about how much you have to actually get rid of to bring in a guy like Lillard, not only to appease Portland in terms of making the deal work, but also just in terms of contract. Like, Damian Lillard is owed crazy money. In next season, he gets $45.6 million. Then he gets 48.7. Then he gets 58.5 and has a player option for 26-27 that's worth $63.2 million.
That's it?
And I will just say, in 26-27, so what? Next season, he's going to be 33. So that is 3 seasons from now. So he's going to be 36, and he's probably going to opt into a $63 million option. Why would you not opt into that? And
I mean, you're on crack if you don't opt into that.
Exactly. And the new salary cap rules will be in effect then with the whole first apron, second apron, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, like, it just takes a shit ton of stuff to trade for him. And I guess I can change this now because we're not really talking about Atlantic Division much. But what's going on with Dame and Harden?
I mean, have we talked about anything that was on that bottom?
It was the same thing the whole episode, pretty much. But but that's pretty much what's going on with Damian Lillard. Is like the Portland can't facilitate a deal right now because A, they don't like what they're getting back, and B, you have to make all that money work for the team you're sending him to.
But here's the thing: the Blazers are in the driver's seat. He's locked into a big contract. And they can wait. They don't have to. This goes back to players like, and I'm not comparing Damian Lillard because Damian Lillard has stayed loyal to one franchise, so he's not nearly on the same level as other players were. But you're looking at a guy now who's locked into a long-term deal, and he's not in charge. Just because a player wants something doesn't mean they're going to get it.
Right.
He could say all he wants, I want to go here, I want to go there. Those days are over. I mean, you could threaten to not play, but I mean...
The report of his agent calling teams and saying, like, hey, don't trade for him because he's not going to be happy playing with your team. Like, fuck off. That's
right.
So dumb. That's so dumb. If that's true. If it's true. Reading that, I was just like, that has to be a joke because if that's real, that is just the most infuriating thing I've read in a long time. And the thing is, Portland fans now are flipping on Damian Lillard because, like you brought up earlier, why are you doing all of this now when people have been asking you for years if you wanted out of Portland? And you're like, no, I want to stay loyal because they're going to build a team around me at some point. Like, I'm going to let them try and make it work for another year. But at the same time, you're sitting there like, oh, I want them to build a team around me. Yet you want $63 fucking million for a season. Who's building a team or a competent championship team around you when you're making that much money? Even James Harden took a pay cut.
Yeah.
So, like...
can we just trade these guys already so we can stop talking about them?
I would love to. I haven't even gotten to the Harden part yet.
You haven't? Fuck.
James Harden's a whole nother fucking case. Because my favorite thing about James Harden is this is all an issue because
he's... strip clubs?
That's probably part of it, to be honest.
Okay.
But it's all an issue because he got the biggest ego check of all time. He thought that he could strong-arm the Sixers in paying him a bigger contract by throwing all these rumors out there about how Houston was going to give him all this money and he was going to go back to Houston. And then the reporters heard wind of him using this as a negotiation tactic, so the Sixers didn't budge. Then he opts in because he knows that other teams haven't been knocking on his door trying to offer him big money. And then once he opts in, says, but I want to be traded because I don't like how you guys handled my free agency. If I'm... Exactly. If I'm the Sixers, why the fuck would I offer you a bunch of money when I know you're not getting all that money anywhere else? And on top of that, now we gotta trade you when as reportedly, the best offer has been Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, and like Norm Powell or whoever with like maybe a pick or two. Because that really makes the Sixers a championship team.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
And so, like it amazes me that Harden can still sit there and say, oh, like, you guys should be doing more. Get me out of here and move me to the team I want to move to. And just deal with it. Whereas, dude...
That's him.
Live sound feed of James Harden. And Mario
Sorry,
here
give him
says,
his bottle.
Mario here says, Dame is like a politician who got elected as a senator in goddamn Delaware trying to run for president. God. I mean, true. And Harden is just...
I'm surprised he even has heard of Delaware.
I know, Delaware is such a random state. But it's just that even Tobias Harris is dealing with the offseason better than James Harden. And Tobias Harris has been in trade rumors for multiple seasons. And, like, at this point, I'm almost like, you know what? Fuck it. Run it back with Tobias Harris. But get James Harden the fuck off the team. And
at least Tobias Harris does a bitch, like you said.
Exactly. And the other thing is, Tobias Harris was told, hey, you're going to be a third, fourth option now, and we need you to play harder defense for you to stay out on the floor. Did he fucking cry about it? No, he did it. James Harden is over here like, I want to play my style of basketball.
Which is, and it's what? Like, miss
exactly.
Shots?
It's dribble the ball 500 times until the shot clock is at 4, and then either shoot it or try and give it to Joel Embiid to just make something happen out of thin air because he couldn't do it. And
he doesn't even shoot it anymore. He just tries to get a foul.
Exactly. And he doesn't get foul calls anymore. He doesn't finish at the rim anymore. He's not athletic anymore. And when he passes the ball, he doesn't fucking move anywhere to move off ball, to run around a screen, to get himself open, and then says to himself, oh, why don't I get the ball? Why can't I get open? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Maybe do the basic fucking things of basketball. That might help. I don't know. You let me know.
Well, it'll be interesting, but all I know is that if Harden would have just, which I don't blame him for wanting to leave Brooklyn, but before all that shit went down between, the plan was KD got his extension, he got a new deal, then the plan was to work on Kyrie and James Harden. James Harden could have had a whole new deal when there was more money available than there is now.
True.
And he would have been he would have had more money, but hey, whatever. That's what happens. Grass ain't always greener on the other side, pal.
Nope. No, it is not. Let's stop talking about these assholes. I want to talk
before
about
Houston. Kill myself.
Exactly. I want to talk about Houston. So they signed Fred VanVleet to some big money.
Good for him, though.
Fred gets 3 years, $128.5 million. 42.8.
Are you okay? Like, what the hell did you eat?
I just keep I had meatloaf.
Really? So did I.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Deanna made me meatloaf. Meatloaf is like one of my favorite dishes ever since I was a little kid. Yeah.
I love meatloaf.
Oh, meatloaf is like probably top 3 favorite food for me.
I mean, Bad Out of Hell was a great album.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. No, I fucking love meatloaf. And I love the fact that you can make a sandwich out of meatloaf.
True. Meatloaf is it's a little versatile. Plus, the meatloaf she made, she slapped on some freshly sliced mozzarella on top and melted that on the top.
Ooh.
Right? That shit was good. So she made a whole like.
No, I live with my mom. I was gonna do that. Mom, meatloaf. We're working on the sound effects here, folks.
Yeah, we'll find
meatloaf.
a soundboard at some point.
Fuck meatloaf.
Ma, the meatloaf. She made one of those big Pyrex glass things of it. And I had probably like 5 slices of it last night for dinner and then another 6 tonight.
So what the hell is she putting on it, though? Because are you sure she's not poisoning you? Because you look like you're about to die.
Oh, I'm just burping a lot. Because I'm also getting worked up yelling about James Harden and Damian Lillard. So
I know, but I ate about a half a meatloaf, and I'm not doing that.
I'm taking in air along it.
That's true. You might be taking more air than I am.
That's all. But
I can hardly breathe because it's so fucking hot. Maybe that's the problem.
True. I have a fan going over in the back there. But anyway, Fred VanVleet.
If I had a fan, I'd cancel out my heavy breathing, and I don't want to neglect the audience of that.
Oh, of course. Oh, we have Mario asking, "What is a meatloaf? A big ass burger?"
Mario, boy.
Damn.
Oh my God. Send him a plane ticket immediately.
Hold on. Now I gotta find a picture of meatloaf to put up here for Mario. I mean so you can make meatloaf like with ground beef, which is what a burger is, but you can make meatloaf a whole bunch of ways. Let me.
Speaking, I'm gonna need a sock.
I might
keep talking about meatloaf.
Here, this might make you need a sock.
Oh yeah, and look at that too, and that's a great move too. You know, this like the spaghetti sauce on top of it is a great move because then it's more like a meatball.
True, and you can change that sauce with whatever. Like Deanna's it was just like a ketchup with like seasonings in the ketchup.
And ketchup is fantastic on meatloaf.
Exactly. So, yeah, you can. I know my grandma used to do ketchup with barbecue sauce.
Oh, grandma.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Grammy.
That's where I started liking meatloaf as a kid. She would make it like that.
Grandma knows everything.
Yep. But so, yeah, you could kind of say, like, it's not exactly a big ass burger. It's made in a different way. Like, you're not grilling it or anything like that. But a lot of times meatloaf has a lot of different meats in there. I know sometimes people put like pork, beef, and another meat in there. Some people just do like ground turkey. Some people do.
No, stop it right now.
I'm just saying that's what other people do.
Do not make fucking meatloaf with ground turkey. If you do that, you're a piece of shit. All right? Like, stop with the ground turkey and the meatloaf. It's called meatloaf for a reason. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling in general.
Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't say that's the best kind of meatloaf to have. I'm just saying it's in this recipe thing.
And then, it's a good one that you can throw a little gravy on meatloaf.
True.
But also, if you take, like, now listen, like, follow me here. All right? You ready? Okay. You get a little meatloaf. Then you get a little mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Maybe a little corn.
Mm-hmm.
And those, you can either do a King's Hawaiian roll with a bunch of butter, or you can do, like, one of those, like, Pillsbury, like one of those, like one of those biscuits, the flaky ones.
Yeah, like the moon ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can mix the corn in with the mashed potatoes.
Oh yeah, that's it right there.
And then you could take
That's what I grew up on.
You could take like the little sandwich, and you can make a little meatloaf sandwich right there while you're eating it.
I feel like that turned into like the reading of a romantic novel.
Yeah, here we go, baby. First thing you gotta do.
First thing, cut
you gotta put the gravy all over that, honey. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, the possibilities are endless with meatloaf.
Agreed. Meatloaf is just a great dish. It's definitely an American dish, but it's a great dish. I like sloppy joes too.
Don't even fucking get me started on sloppy joes. I'll need 5 socks.
Exactly. Used to eat the whole damn pot. Mario says, I would go to the U.S., but I'm like Kyrie. I haven't received the elixir.
Oh, they don't care about that anymore.
Yeah, you're fine now.
The government was caught. They realized that it was all a hoax all along, and they don't care. Mario, come on over. You don't need the elixir. You're good.
Exactly. They don't look for it anymore.
Nah, they don't care.
At least not when I've traveled outside of the U.S.
Plus, nobody in your country has that anyways.
True. Anyway, Houston gets Fred VanVleet. They get Dillon Brooks.
They probably got like barbecue meatloaf in Houston.
They probably do. I'd be very curious to try.
Like some fucking some chick named like Amber Lee. She's like, yeah, I'll come out and down and have some meatloaf. I'd be like, all right, honey. You get there, her ass cheeks are like hanging out.
And it's just a big thing of meatloaf just slapped in the middle of the table. So they get Fred VanVleet, Dillon Brooks
down.
for 4-year, $80 million. Jock Landale, 4-year, $32
I mean, that
million.
guy cleaned up. 4 years, 32. Jock Landale, good for you, pal. Pretty good for a guy who barely did anything last year.
Seriously, he really didn't do all that much for Phoenix, but got himself a good payday.
They needed to spend the money, I think, is what the problem was.
True. I still can't believe Dillon Brooks got $20 million a year, but they also signed Jeff
neither
Green.
Here nor there.
Exactly.
Yeah, good Jeff Green,
Jeff Green, 1 year, $6 million, and then they just signed Aaron Holiday, 1 year, $2.3 million. Aaron Holiday is just going to be another third-string point guard like he was before, so no harm, no foul with Aaron Holiday. Jeff Green, I mean,
better than Drew.
True. Better than Drew?
The way things are going lately, yeah.
Oh.
And before anybody rides my balls, I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I can't believe Jeff Green's coming back for another year.
Oh, I thought he was on Medicare at this point in his career.
It says he's going to be turning 37 before next year starts. Which at this point, it feels like he's 52.
I mean, he's like doing those like swinging seniors dances down at the local, rec center.
His workouts are actually like water Pilates, like they used to see at the...
Like the old ladies, their fucking arms jiggling and shit.
They're just in the water going.
As I'm sitting there watching them, so they're obviously doing more than me.
True. I mean, I like the Fred VanVleet signing. That's a lot of money for Fred VanVleet, but
he deserves it though.
He does. He's great player, great leader. He'll definitely do well for them. He had a down year last year. It's just a down year.
He was depressed.
Yeah.
He don't want to play in Toronto anymore.
People wrote him off after last season as if he didn't have multiple good seasons before that, which is crazy to me. He's going to be perfectly fine. He'll probably start alongside Jalen Green. Then you'll have Dillon Brooks, and then you'll have Sengun. Jabari Smith, that's what I was looking for. The only thing to me is, now I guess you put the one Thompson twin that they get, I guess you put him as like sixth man? Because there's no way you're bringing VanVleet off the bench. You're not bringing Jalen Green off the bench. You're maybe bring Dillon Brooks off the bench, but then I don't know why you would pay him $20 million a year to bring him off the bench.
You never know.
True. Kevin Porter Jr. is still there, too. That's a good piece off the bench right there, Kevin Porter Jr. And then Lawndale to back up Sengun. So, I mean, they got a decent roster. Now it's up to Ime Udoka to actually coach them up and see if they make the playoffs. I think they make the play-in at least.
I think they make the play-in.
I think they get a 7 seed.
If the Lakers could make the Western Conference Finals, the Rockets could make a play-in.
True. I think they get to like the 7 or 8.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah. Anyway, the 2 remaining topics. Kuzma.
Oh, God.
How the hell, after all of that, does he stay in Washington?
I mean, truth be told, he's not a horrible player.
No. He's not horrible.
And at least they got Jordan Poole, which is good. They got Tyus Jones, which is good. So I felt like they moved in a better direction. I mean, they signed Bradley Beal last year. I'd certainly rather spend money on Kyle Kuzma.
I mean, I guess $25.5 million per year isn't.
That ain't bad.
It's not the worst contract. You're paying Jordan Poole more. I mean, for good reason. He's also younger.
He could take a punch better.
True. So I guess what? Daniel Gafford would be the starting center, and then.
And they get, they have, Denny Advia.
True. They have the Koulibaly that they drafted. He's more of like a small forward, I think. Yeah, he's a small forward. Kispert is still there. As of right now, he's slotted in as their starting small forward.
They have Wright.
Actually gonna play. Oh yeah, Delon Wright's still
there.
Landry Shamet.
Kispert started some games.
Yeah. I just don't know if they if they're gonna want Denny to slot in there as a starter.
Well, Denny's a starter. He has to be because he's. Yeah. And I think he'll take a leap this season. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, really, the next thing for Denny to do is upgrade his shooting. I mean, his rebounding, especially as a 6'9" small forward, is very good.
He's a good player.
He's a decent defensive player.
I mean, let's truth be told here. If Kyle Kuzma wasn't such a fucking doof and didn't wear that stupid sweater, we wouldn't hate this as much.
I'm still not that high on him as a player.
Okay, but I think we hate it even more, though, because when you see a guy wear a sweater like that.
Oh, yeah.
And just the weird colored hair. Doof. Yeah, that kind of, but honestly, he's not a bad player by any means.
No. I would like him more at like 18, 20 million a year. That's where I would like him the most. Whatever. But 25.5 isn't terrible.
But like I said, you got rid of Bradley Beal.
That's a win.
You won the entire offseason. And you added Jordan Poole.
Yep. And added Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
Those are good. Those are 2 very solid additions. We don't know what Koulibaly is going to be like. He could definitely be something pretty good coming out of France. We have no idea. I know a lot of the things I've read is people don't understand why Washington reached for him where they did because they thought there was a few players over him that would have been
Cam
better.
Whitmore, too, we forgot to mention.
True. Cam Whitmore as well. So, yeah, I thought it's crazy. Like, I thought Washington was maybe like 5th on the list of places I thought Kuzma was going to end up in. I really thought he was going to get signed away from Washington.
Hey. But like I said, much better offseason.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But speaking of like draft picks, though, like Chad Holmgren, he's looking like the real deal, though. Were we gonna go talk about that, or
We can, yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up, but we can talk about Summer League in a second. I wanted to shout out real quick because we didn't mention it. Toronto re-signed Jakob Pertl for 4 years, $80 million. I like that. They get Dennis Schroeder at 2 year, $25 million. That's okay. And then they signed Jalen McDaniels 2 years, $9.2 million, which is essentially like nothing for McDaniels. I don't hate their offseason so far at all.
but it's yet to be seen if Pascal Siakam's going to stay. I'm still not convinced that he's going to stay.
Also true. And for some reason, they want to hang on to OG. When Toronto hears OG's name, then they need a sock.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Exactly, I don't either.
He's like what you get after like your fourth time doing that on the day. You definitely don't need a sock for that. You're barely getting anything out of it.
Exactly. Now,
what is that noise?
There's kids hanging out.
Somebody having a bar mitzvah.
There's like 5 kids in the street playing like soccer.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
It sounds like there was like a cult outside, like sacrificing somebody.
I mean, they could be. I don't know. I don't know what kids are into these days. So
I don't want to know.
The last thing I was going to bring up before Summer League. So you brought this up a little bit. I thought Phoenix actually did a decent job with picking up role players in the offseason.
Oh, come on.
I thought they were going to get worse players than they did. They get Eric Gordon, re-signed Damian Lee, Bates Diop, Drew Eubanks, Chimezie Metu, Okogie re-signs, and they get Yuta Watanabe. I mean, those are decent role players to me. I think that they did a pretty good job with what they had.
Okay. But who's going to play when Booker gets hurt and Durant gets hurt and Beal gets hurt? I'm still not convinced either DeAndre Ayton's staying there. And I'm
not convinced either.
And I know I've said it, and I know he just re-signed, but I'm still staying strong with my Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are going to be together again.
What if it was like a... How could I do this? What if it was like a 5-team deal where Ayton goes to Dallas, Kyrie goes to Phoenix, Lillard goes to Miami, Duncan Robinson goes to
I'm listening.
Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Hero goes to...
You're just pulling stuff out of your ass now.
I was going to say Tyler Hero goes to Portland, but I was like, wait, they're the ones that don't want to do
That's
that
the
deal
problem.
in the first place.
That's the problem.
Caleb Martin goes to Portland, and then Josh Green goes to Portland.
Boy, you're just doing anything right now.
I have to pull up the trade machine and figure something out. I cannot do a trade off the top of my head.
That trade machine would have a meltdown if you put that thing in there.
First off, the trade machine would be like, 5-team deal? The fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised though if Ayton lasted in. I still don't think Ayton's gonna stay in Phoenix. Even I mean, I know Monty's not there, and Monty and him didn't get along at all. And Vogel seems to like him, but I'm still not convinced. Because it's only a matter of time, though, before Kyrie starts his usual bullshit. Like, he's going to be on his best. He was on his best behavior just to get his, new deal.
Right.
But once he gets locked in, then it's game on. He could start his usual hijinks. And I said it before, like, I do not see him and Luka working out at all.
Nope.
Like, Kevin Durant might have put up with his bullshit, but Luka's not the guy who's going to put up with his bullshit.
I agree. And the moment Luka starts losing like notoriety and everything, he's not going to put up with it.
And so there will be a point in time in this season where the Kyrie Irving bullshit will start.
I 100% agree. So, with that being said, Summer League thoughts so far. You brought up Chet.
But good thing for Drew Eubanks. So I like Drew Eubanks.
I do too. I think he's a good backup.
Yeah. He could be a starter one day. Who the hell knows?
True.
The way things are going over there.
True.
Summer League is fun. I love Summer League.
I love watching Summer League. It's just
oh my god. I think I might like it better than regular NBA season.
I was about to say the same thing because there's no stakes. You don't have to care if your team wins or not.
Well, the guys care because they want to put on like a good performance.
Right.
But it's very laid back and chilled in certain areas. You know, coaches are wearing shorts, the commentary's loose. You know, it's just such a. I love it. I wish a summer league would go all summer.
I know. I agree. I've loved watching the Summer League Sixers, especially because Nick Nurse is out there coaching. Usually it's not the actual head coach, it's coaching the team.
He had his little shorts on with his sneakers.
Yep.
He should have wore flip-flops.
That would have been funny.
That would have been great.
But I've loved what I've been seeing out of Jaden Springer. I tweeted about him last night during the game, and I said, I truly believe that Jaden Springer is going to be a lot better next season than anyone expects him to be. Especially whatever happens with the Sixers' moves and bullshit, that he could see a lot more time than even he expected. And on top of that, I like seeing, I think his name was Ricky Council the Fourth, is their other like undrafted free agent that they've been trying out. I like him so far. He's pretty cool. He's good. The only thing is they brought over the one dude from Europe finally, Petrasev, and don't really care for him. Thought he'd be a little bit better.
That's racist. I mean, the Kings got their big EuroLeague MVP pickup.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So don't ask me to pronounce his name because I'll butcher it, so I'm not even going to try it, but Google it. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, the Lakers had Cole Swider again and Max Christie, and then the Heat had...
Jamie Jaquez Jr.
He looks like fucking the Morrison.
Adam Morrison?
You know, why can't I think of his name?
With the long hair and everything, that guy?
Yeah, Trey Ban and Chet Holmgren look absolutely amazing.
Oh, they do. Jalen Williams doesn't even need to play. I don't even know why they put him in there in the first place.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with, but both of those Williams guys are pretty good, and you know, I think Jalen Williams is better than Jalen Williams, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, Dieng looked okay for the Thunder.
True.
So yeah, the Thunder and Chet, he added some bulk, which was great. He looked bigger. I think he averaged 2.5 shots through the first, 2.5 blocks in those 2 summer league games. I mean, he was getting after it. He struggled shooting in his second game of summer league, but overall, I mean, I would be pretty damn excited if Chet. I mean, he looks pretty much free of the foot ailment.
Yeah, he does. It looks like he's not playing tonight. I didn't realize the Thunder were playing the Sixers as we speak. It's almost over. Trey Mann actually has 23 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds, and a steal.
So going into, I think Trey Mann was averaging 24 points in those 2 games. So, I mean, good summer league for him so far.
Oh, yeah. Oof, Jaden Springer has 7 turnovers, but he has 17 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds.
But Brandon Miller, though, looks like complete ass.
I still believe he's going to be the bust of the top 5. I don't know.
I tell you, if they should have went with Scoot.
They should have. They shot themselves in the foot.
No
Keegan
pun
Murray.
intended.
True.
Oh God.
Keegan Murray looked really fucking good.
Keegan Murray shit hot.
Jovic actually looked decent.
They just want to trade him.
Oh, I mean, definitely. Malachi Branham, another one that looks pretty good for San Antonio there. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get this coming season now that, Wembanyama, they want the younger... I mean, he's a younger guy, but like they have a core now of guys that are going to be playing. So
they
got how much time he's going to get.
Sandro Michaelush, who just signed.
Yeah, that's true.
That guy,
that guy,
who is not bad. I mean,
also, I'm not losing hope in Kenny Lofton Jr. Still think he's going to
he
be
looks
a
like
very
me
good
playing
player.
basketball.
That man is thick, but
hella thick.
I still think he's going to be a very good player. And
I mean, he's got an ass most women wish they had.
That's true. It's only rivaled by Kyle Lowry.
Oh, that's a fat ass right there.
Exactly. And the shout out my fellow Pitt grad Justin Champagne. He looked pretty decent for San Antonio as well.
He ain't no Julian.
He's not, but he was really damn good at Pitt. So I'm hoping he breaks into a roster and sticks, but we'll see.
Yeah, he won't, but he could. Yeah,
he might. I don't know. But unless there's anything else you want to get off your chest, I think that's it here for us tonight.
I want an Italian ice. That's what I'm headed after this.
That's a good call, especially in this heat.
I mean, I'll eat it in the winter. I'm crushing in the winter.
But they're even better in the heat, to me.
They're magic. They're fantastic.
Oh, they're fantastic, no matter what. I agree.
And what I did, and now that I don't have my daughter home this week, I usually am a nice guy, and I put some like blue ones aside for her. Mm-hmm. She ain't here, so it's
the blue for you.
Game on.
It's gonna look like a murder of Smurf Village up there.
Right, it's gonna look like a Smurf blew someone.
On that note, thank you everybody for
listening.
I'm
gonna look like I blew a Smurf.
Thank you everybody for listening to
gave me the
and
money
watching
shot.
Another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast, the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network.
For now, till they throw us off.
Exactly. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe below. Hit the bell for notifications. Let you know when we go live. We're also...
I don't even fucking care if you do that anymore.
Nah, do it. Do it.
No, I'm using reverse psychology.
Ah.
I bet they won't.
Oh. Now it sounds like we're playing good cop, bad cop.
I guarantee you they won't hit that subscribe button.
If you hit that subscribe button, I won't give you $5.
I don't even know. Now I don't even know what kind of reverse psychology we're talking about.
Double reverse. Anyway, we're also everywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, all that kind of stuff. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.